Hello vinyl community, this is my first video. I'm Graham and I like progressive rock, and I just wanted to show a few albums that I picked up over the Christmas period here in the UK. The first one is 801 Live, which is quite well known as Phil Manzanera from Roxy Music, and Eno, also from Roxy Music, put together a sort of supergroup that recorded this live album in 1975 at the Queen Elizabeth Hall in London. It has some stellar players on it. Francis Monkman, who went on to play with Sky, Simon Phillips, fantastic fusion drummer, played with Jeff Beck, all sorts of people, Hiromi recently. And it's also got Bill McCormick on bass, who does some stellar work on here. Not the best sounding album, but it's a live recording, and it was great to pick that up for £3. Next up is Patrick Mraz, a very unusual album that I got for £3. This is called Future Memories, Patrick Mraz, live on TV. It was I think a Swiss TV recording of an improvisation, quite phenomenal. If you're into Mini Moog and sort of electronic keyboards, quite improvisational, quite kind of mystical sounding at times. There's gongs that he plays at the same time as he's playing the keyboards. Just great. Some really kind of extravagant white noise type sounds as well. So that was great to pick that up for £3. Quite rare. Okay, just three more. Really pleased to pick this up. Bill Bruford's One of a Kind, quite a well-known jazz fusion album, bit of a classic. Some say it's Bruford's best album. I prefer the first album, which is Feels Good to Me, which I also got recently on vinyl. This has got Dave Stewart, of course, on keyboards, Alan Holdsworth on guitar, and the astonishing Jeff Berlin on bass. He plays a track on this called 5G, which is really a bass extravaganza. But my favorite track on this is Hell's Bells, which is a superb sort of synth-driven track. I think it might be the Yamaha CS80, played by Dave Stewart. Just very, very good, very knotty time signature. Bruford as ever just nails it, but it's just a really great opening to the album, and it kind of really gets everything just going straight away. So highly recommend this. It's on the Polydor label, Bill Bruford. I was amazed to find this. This is Makan Titles, his first solo album. Mick Karn was the bass player in Japan, well known as a bit of a kind of maverick, fretless virtuoso, played wall basses. And I picked this up unbelievably for £3. It's in mint condition, and it's just quite an unusual album. Tends to be bass led, but it's slightly futuristic, very 80s sounding, a lot of programmed drums. Mick Karn plays everything. He's a bit of a genius. He plays things like bassoon himself, plays keyboards. But there are contributions for Japan fans from Richard Barbieri and also Steve Jansen, the drummer and keyboard player from Japan. I used to have this on cassette. It's very hard to find it on vinyl. This is in great condition, and it's just superb finding that for £3. Last but not least, a bootleg, but one that is well known. I'm a huge Emerson, Lake and Palmer fan, and in fact I had this album originally a cassette recording of the album, and then it's been released variously through King Biscuit Flower Hour live recordings on CD release, and then latterly, early sort of 2000s, Best of the Bootlegs, Carl Palmer put together a bootleg box set. But it's just great to get this on vinyl. It's called Works a Half because it's kind of between what Works 1 and Works 2. It's got both tracks from both albums. Superb live renditions, great recording. It was actually an FM broadcast this is taken from, but everything sounds great. The keyboards sound fantastic, the Yamaha GX1. Greg Lake was using the alembic bass at this time, which had this strange sort of toppy jangling sound. But Carl Palmer was using the stainless steel drum kit, which had this beautiful, deep, resonant ring to it, particularly the high toms. And in fact, there's a great little clip from the drum solo, which segues into the Enemy God, which is a percussion track. The kit sounds phenomenal, and Carl Palmer is playing absolutely flat out. So it's a great representation of Keith, Greg, and Carl. Delighted to get that. It's just a plain white label. There's nothing particular, no inserts, but great to have the original artwork and have it on vinyl. Thanks very much for watching.